Good morning, YouTube. It's the weekend, and because it's the weekend, that means it's time for pancakes. Typically, I'll make my pancakes from scratch, but I'm a firm believer that even if you don't have the time, you deserve the perfect pancake. So I'm going to show you how to do a quick and easy pancake hack today that's going to give you the best pancakes that your time can buy. Let's check it out. Alright, since this is going to be a breakfast hack, we're going to make sure this is quick and easy. We're going to start with the Krusteaz complete pancake mix. So this is just add water. This mix is actually really good right out of the bag out of all the pancake mixes. This is by far my favorite. But we're going to add a little special ingredient. That's just brown cow cream top yogurt to make these pancakes over the top and tasting like you made them from scratch. So if you can get your hands on this is brown cow. It's the Cadillac of yogurt. It's super creamy. It almost tastes like dessert rather than a health food. We're only going to use a little bit of it, so not to worry. And last but not least, use the best maple syrup your money can buy. I'm serious. Don't ruin perfectly good pancakes with terrible, just sugar-based syrups that are not even don't even have maple in them. Get the 100% maple syrup. This one is going to be Applewood smoked bacon maple syrup. So we're gonna try that this morning. I promised this was gonna be fast, so let's get this thing going, dudes. Let's cook. I'm going to put this on a 3, just in terms of how hot I'm going to make this. And I'm going to get this pan warmed up. So it's just real low heat, and we're going to just let this thing warm up real slow while we get everything going. Alright, now I'm just going to follow the recipe here, and all I'm going to do is really, I'm going to add whatever portion you're going to make for. So I'm actually using a half recipe here. On the package. The package says that it makes for 6 to 7, but I find that to be a total lie. It usually 6 to 7 pancakes means 6 to 7 pancakes the size of a silver dollar. So we're looking at 2 to 3 pancakes, maybe 4 large pancakes. If you use the full recipe, I'm using half that. I'm just going to make enough for 2 good-sized pancakes. So all I'm going to do, this is all you need to do, is substitute the water in the recipe with that beautiful cream top yogurt. But here's the secret. Whenever you're using a recipe, an instant recipe, any of these instant bake, instant mix, in the box kind of things, the baking soda is there as a leavening agent, and what that does is it is going to actually create these bubbles of air, these pockets of little bubbles in your batter, and it's activated once we start mixing that batter together. So the one thing that you don't want to do is mess with this too much. So no matter what portion you're going to use, you're just going to add a little bit of water at a time, just a little bit, so that your batter is not so stiff. I typically have to use about maybe 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon, depending on how much pancakes I'm going to make. But see, I'm just kind of folding the batter. I'm not using a whisk to beat it, and that's intentional. I just want it to be wet enough so that it kind of glops, not so wet that it's drizzly. Okay. This is looking pretty good. So that was, for the half recipe, that was about a little close to a tablespoon of water. But you're just gonna do it so that it glops, just kind of like that, right? It's gonna be wet but not too wet. See how you can start to see the bubbles in here form? I'm gonna just stop touching that completely. I'm gonna let that sit for about 5 minutes. That's gonna let this thing get really nice and really fluffy. If you were to go back and start mixing this up again, that's where you ruin your batter. That's where the batter starts to break down, and you lose all the leavening agent properties of the baking soda, and you just flatten out your pancakes. And you don't want to do that, especially since it's got this great creamy vanilla yogurt in there now. So, okay, our pan is nice and warmed up. I'm just gonna add a little butter to each, or to the first side. I'm like a total fatty, so I like to butter my pancakes every one. Now if you have a family and you know, you're making a bigger batch and stuff, you don't have to get all crazy like I'm getting and just do this one by one kind of stuff. Just load up that pan. I'm only doing this for the visual purposes because I want it to look pretty for you guys. So I'm going to take roughly half of the batter I made. I'm going to set it down right in there into the middle. Like I said, I'm not trying to mix around the batter that's in the bowl already, because what that would do is just break down the leavening properties of the bubbles that we created. I'm going to get as much off this as I can. Okay, and here's where you got to help it out, because this is a thicker batter. I'm going to just kind of slowly spread it around with the back of my spatula. And by the way, I know this looks kind of ghetto. I actually did this on purpose. My spatula, I find it so much easier to use if I can just use my hand. So I just pull it off the handle and I pop it back on if I need to. But I like using my spatula like this. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Because this is a thicker batter, it may not bubble, depending on how much water you added. It may not bubble like a typical pancake. So you're gonna have to kind of check the edges to make sure that you're not burning the other side every once in a while. That'll take about, I would say the cook time on this is probably about a minute or two. So we'll come back then and I'll show you the flip. Okay guys, let me see if I can unclip this so you can see what we're working with here. I'm seeing the edge start to kind of take shape. See how it's lifting off the bottom, just right around that bottom edge area. And you can see these bubbles starting to form. This bubble right here, this one right there, the one that's not going away, that's the telltale sign that this thing is starting to get this just ready to flip. So I can, I'm just gonna go ahead and flip this guy because I'm thinking that we're in a pretty good spot right now. Let me just hook this back in. See if I can get it back into focus. Okay. Gonna give this guy a flip. Oh, look at that color. Nice and even all around on the top and around the side and stuff. So what I'm going to do is, typically it'll take half the time it took to cook on the first side, because the first time you're really waiting for those bubbles to come all the way through. You're cooking it about 3/4 of the way. This side, or 2/3 this side, is just to put color on the other side and make sure it's cooked on the other side. Your inside will continue to cook even after you take this pancake off the griddle. What I don't like are pancakes that are overdone. In fact, any cake that is overdone is, to me, kind of bad. So I'll pull these off typically, even if they're a little early. You can always put pancakes back on if you feel like it's runny inside or it's not, you know, especially when we're using the box mix like this, and we're not using fresh eggs. I'm pretty confident that we'll be okay. So just me, look at how fluffy this guy is. Look at that. Look at the jiggle in there. I love that. That's the power of what this cream top yogurt does. The brown cow cream top yogurt. It really just, it's so delicious. It really just adds a creaminess and a fluffiness to these guys. So I'm not even going to cook the other one right now. I'm going to dig into this one and let you guys see it, because I promised this was going to be fast. You guys, I'm not kidding when I'm telling you. The vanilla on this is just doing insane things to me right now. So let's just go ahead and throw a pat of butter on there. Let that get nice and warm. Top this bad boy off. Let's not be afraid of maple syrup. It's your friend. Let's get that butter. Just show you what I'm talking about. Just look at the texture on that. It adds a little chewiness and a little creaminess and that fluffiness. Oh my gosh. Guys, honestly, I feel kind of bad eating this pancake in front of you. But this recipe is so simple and easy. This is a breakfast hack that anyone can do. So I don't feel that bad. You guys, don't mess around. Go. Pancakes. Now. It's worth it. I want to thank you guys for joining me on this easy breakfast hack on Dudes Let's Cook.